Unfortunately, folks, we haven't got predictable weather conditions. So we've got this unit here, which is used by graphics primarily, and this is an exposure unit. This produces UV light. When we bring our cyanotype papers down, we need to bring them down in a black bag. This is a light-proof bag that we use for putting rolls of film onto reels. We'll be using these in another project. But here, we've got papers inside, so that the light outside doesn't react with them. When you're working in here, make sure the blind is down as much as possible. Make sure the door is closed. Otherwise, you're going to get more UV light coming in. When using this, you need to lift it up flick these two back, then lift up from there. This whole unit works as a vacuum, so it sucks it down. Power switch is over here. Make sure it's switched off when you leave, and the lights are automatic when you come in. The timer is set with just these little buttons. It's not a digital timer, so you select if it's going to be minutes. You're going to say that we'll do 12-minute exposure, and then we start to lay out our work. With your work, we need, if it's berries and so forth, we need to put it into a poly pocket, alright, so it doesn't ruin the screen over here. So if I take one of these and some foliage, get one of our sheets of paper. The first thing that goes down will be the foliage. And remember, when you're making your image, you're making it unique for you, and you're putting it to a theme. 4 final pieces for this project, and linking it to your interpretation of the word nature. So for this, I'm just going to put them in randomly. You can use just clear sheets of plastic if you want. Actually, it would be easier not to put them inside, and to just put it there like that, so that the plastic is protecting it. Don't go inside or outside the blue line here, otherwise it won't be exposed correctly. Underneath here we've got a series of bulbs. You could pick the whole idea of just doing herbs. You could pick the whole idea of doing fruit, cutting up things, whatever it may be. I suddenly have gone for a Christmas theme on this one. Put those down. You try and keep away from the perforated edge, alright, otherwise it'll come onto your print. Unless you want it on, that is. And as a group, when you're working in a group, you lay it out to fill the whole area. The 2 handles need to be used. The middle handle first goes down slowly so you don't move everybody's, and then you clip it into place. Once you press this, it will suck out all of the air. So where we're using graphics, big screens, right, for printing and so forth, it sucks out all of the air. As you can hear, it's coming out. It takes about 2 or 3 minutes for that to happen, and then the blue light here for exposing, and you'll be able to see a little bit of UV light come out here, will be ready. Okay, it'll switch off once it's finished its exposure. We're not going to do an exposure now, because that would be 12 minutes of YouTube footage, which would be really hard to make interesting. When the timer's gone off and it's fully exposed, you lift each handle back, and slowly, otherwise all the sheets of paper will go flying everywhere, lift it up. Then you've got your exposed piece of paper. If it's not dark enough, if it's not like almost mud or really, really dark, kind of dirty blue, verging on navy, like a really dark navy, then if you haven't moved any of the sheets, you could expose a bit longer. If you have moved the sheets, then unfortunately we'll just have to go with that. You might need to do a second one. Right? Once you're finished in here, you make sure it's switched off at the wall, and you make sure the door gets locked on your way out. You can't switch off lights because they're all automatic. Don't do what I did the first day and spent ages looking for the light switch. Alright?